Greetings, greetings, and salutations, beautiful people in the beautiful world. It is me, he is I, and I am him, Zach Latimer, Z-Lat, Coach Lat, and welcome back to another segment of Right and Exact. Shots out to a new nation and a shout out to you. You could be doing anything in the world right now, but you are here with me, and I do appreciate that. Today, what I want to talk about and build on, again, man, we kind of vibing this on Enlightenment Transformation, is mate selection, man, and just, the magic of mating. And mates just mean match, right? And when you find a mate, you find your match. Well, the first thing that I get to thinking about when you find a mate is just that whole game that you used to play when you was a shorty, or maybe you have played with nieces and nephews or your children, is the card game that you have all of these things on there. You might have fruit, you might have animals, you might have anything on the cards, and you flip them all over. So when you flip one card over, you might have a lion on it, and then you flip another one over, and it might have a grapefruit on it or something. So those two don't match. So you flip them back over. So you keep trying to find it to find the match of the cards so you can start to win the game. Well, the whole idea now of this game is to now have or be a person of history and be a person of memory and of scholarship a little bit, right? So you have to memorize where these things are so that therefore you can start to have proper matches, proper mates. And if you get disconnected from your history, get disconnected from a memory, you may be a little confused. You may be a little bewildered. And you might start to see that somebody that you're sitting across from starting to win the game, racking up with their natural counterparts, while you, on the other hand, start to get emotional behind it and start to maybe genetically modify your counterparts or relationships and wondering why they don't work. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of times people get into relationships and they feel like they can build or mold and shape the other person into what they feel like they should be, coming from their view or coming from their eyes, because they don't want to make a change themselves. So what ends up happening is they might meet somebody and you get frozen in time because this person is so pretty, and you get frozen off of the way they move and the way they walk, and you just like, I want this person to be like this. So what do you start to do? Well, let me just start to dress them up or doll them up into the way I am. It's kind of like making a snowman, right? And as you roll a snowman out, you give him these sticks and you give him a hat and you dress him up and look at his buttons and look how, okay, I made it to the way that I wanted it to be. But as time starts to go on and you start to see seasons start to change, well, the people are like tea bags. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get until you put them in hot water. Well, guess what happens when now this person that you have dolled up and you have made him to be or her to be the way that you feel like they should be? Well, that sun's going to come out and you're about to see what you really got. And if this person is a loser, guess what's going to start to ooze from their veins, ooze from their pores? Their loserness is really going to start to show. Okay, so you have to now say, well, if one can't keep fixing all the external situations that are going around them, then one is forced to fix themselves. You have to look at yourselves, and the thing is now, you have to say, hold on, if I keep making these bad decisions, if I keep running into these wrong people, then I need to lean on elders. And there's even a passage that goes, lean not into your own understanding, acknowledge him and he will direct your path, right? Well, you got to acknowledge your elders. And there's a difference between somebody being an elder and somebody being older. Older people just don't know anything, and they're kind of annoying, but elders have true wisdom, right? But it's hard because it's hard to lean on that wisdom, because even it came out of the imprisonment of Obatala, where it said that your desires will be stronger than your counsel. So even when he went and got counsel on what he wanted to do, he said, you're still going to do what you want to do because your desires are going to be stronger than what you're getting as your counsel from your elder or your Babalawo or Iyanifa or so on and so forth. So when you start to look at it, you start to lean on and say, hold on. Even when I used to speak with my dad, he would always say that, if he was ever dating somebody or brought somebody, the first thing that they would ask was, who is their people? My aunts or my uncles, who's the people? Where they come from? You look at the line, you look at the stock, you look at the pedigree. What is this person about? Because if you start to look at the line that they come from, it's going to start to show you what you're going to get. Now, should one start to engage in some hypergamy where, if you meet somebody that might be a little higher, if you can get them, perfectly fine. right? But sometimes if you don't do your inner work on yourself, you might get this person and screw up the whole relationship. So again, you got to lean on that counsel, lean on that wisdom of the elders. Now, some may look at this and say, well, that sounds like, arranged relationships. Yeah, because a lot of times if you look at it like this, I don't know how old you are, but let's just go back 10 years from whatever you're at right now and say, what did I not know then that I know now? And then you start looking and say, man, I didn't know anything at that. I thought I knew everything, but then the world has changed. And the more that I start to know, the less that I feel I know, right? So if you start to lean on the scholarship and the understanding and the wisdom of your elders, then they have a different trajectory, or they have a different vantage point than you have. They see things a whole lot differently than you see. So when you start to lean on that, then you start to say, hold up, man, I don't need to make the same mistakes over and over. Let me just lean on somebody else. But we live in a society that tells you, no, just go do your own thing and you'll figure it out. And, a piece of that, yeah, it is true. You do need to do your own thing. But at the same time, lean on the people who have already done it so you don't do the same mistakes over and over again. You're going to make mistakes, but make new mistakes. That's what life is all about, not repeating the same mistakes over and over again. And for that, you have to remember your history, your culture, and really start to build from there. So I will that you got something out of this. I will that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time right here on Right and Exact. Like, comment, subscribe, share all that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.